Hi, I'm Daniel Burstein, the Associate Director of Editorial Content here at McLabs with the MarketingSherpa B2B Summit in Boston. And we were lucky enough to have a special surprise drop-in guest, David Meerman Scott. He's going to be our keynote speaker at Email Summit in Las Vegas in January. He's the author of the upcoming book, Real-Time Marketing and PR. Comes out November 1st, and everyone at Email Summit will get a free copy. And so, while we had him here, I'm going to ask him just a few questions about email and hear what he's going to talk about.
We're doing a real-time video now.
That's right, real-time video, real-time marketing and PR. We'll get this up pretty quick. But that's what I want to ask you about, Dave. And real-time marketing and PR.
Yeah.
When I think of that, I think of social media and Twitter and maybe a YouTube video, but how does email fit into that?
Well, you know, what people always are in this long-term planning process in marketing departments. It's the whole campaign mentality. You know, what's the email campaign we're going to be doing next week? What's the email campaign we're going to be doing next month? Oh, we've got a product announcement we've got to make, so we're going to plan around that. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but I find that most organizations don't think about what's going on in the news right now, or what's the competition doing right now that you can play off of. And for all organizations, doesn't matter whether it's B2B or B2C or nonprofit, or even government agencies, but you can think about what can I do to send an email to my prospects or my existing customers or my marketplace when there's a real good reason to do so, rather than just on a sort of generic kind of timetable. I'll give you an example. So as we're filming this, it's the end of October. Earlier this month, the Chilean miners came out of their hole. Yeah, they were wearing Oakley sunglasses, and Oakley did some great real-time communications around that. They put these sunglasses, which they donated to the miners, 33 pairs. They retail for $180, and so the whole world sees as they come out, they've got these sunglasses on. So I would have liked to have seen the next step with Oakley. They should have had that particular model featured on their website. Then they should have hit their email, and maybe they did do this, I'm not on their email list, so I'm not sure, but they should have then hit their email list that morning and said, hey, you know, the Chilean miners just came out, and these are the three models that they were wearing. Now, don't try to hype it. Don't say, aren't we great because we, you know, gave away these sunglasses, but instead say, you know, the miners are underground for a couple months. They came out, their eyes were going to be potentially harmed by the sun's rays, and then they could, in the email or pointing to a landing page somewhere, talk about ultraviolet rays and what it means, and all sorts of ways to do that. But what I find is that so few organizations think about how we can create something in the here and now that is instantaneous, because they're so focused on the campaign mentality.
Yeah, so one takeaway for me, for email marketers out there is, you know, I think sometimes we want to get our campaigns done, we plan it, okay, it's done, I'm set for the next 3 months.
And you set the automatic, and also they set the automatic, well, you know, this thing's going to go next Thursday, I'll just set the automatic thing, it'll start cranking away on Wednesday night, whatever.
Yeah, and we watch the news anyway, right? We're all in touch with it, we can't turn it off, so make sure we're relating to that.
And that's just one example of the idea of the news. Another thing is in context emails. Like, so for example, if you're, let's say you're in the hotel business, and this kind of idea would work for anybody, but if you're in the hotel business, you know, and somebody makes a reservation, there should be an email communications that happens. Then, as the actual time when you're going to go to the hotel gets closer, maybe another email communications can happen. But what a lot of companies don't do is sync that up with the telephone system or email or other kinds of system. So imagine somebody makes a reservation and through the online network, and they get a thank you for making the reservation, here's your confirmation number, typical stuff by email. Now there's an opportunity maybe to market, say, I don't know, why not a golf tee time? Hey, there's a golf course 10 miles away, we've got a special deal with them, market that. Then what happens though if somebody actually makes it a golf reservation? Well, then maybe you can then say, here's some weather information or whatever. Now, of course, as you know, with email marketing, you don't want to be intrusive, you don't want to send too much, but at the same time, putting that stuff in context is another form of real-time.
The funny thing when I hear you say this to me is, we just here this morning heard Flint McLaughlin say people don't buy from websites, people buy from people. And that marketers have a different voice when they're actual people talking than when they're marketers.
Right.
And the funny thing is, everything you're saying, I would do as a person,
but
maybe as a marketer.
Companies
Not.
don't really
Yeah,
do.
right.
It's really, it's really interesting to me. Or you know, we can extend this idea of somebody makes a reservation at a hotel and then, oh, how about golf? Then they sign up for golf. Well, then how about the email comes from the golf pro? Not the hotel. Never mind, we're not trying to sell you something. But the golf pro says, hey, you know, great to have you here. Here's a little bit of information about the course. Now all of a sudden you're so far away from what's typically seen as email marketing, which is just trying to sell stuff, at least in my mind. As a consumer, that's what I can see so frequently, into kind of relationship building. And that rubs off so brilliantly on the hotel at the start of that communication.
Well, that was the point of email to begin with, communication,
Yeah,
right? not sending a bunch of spam. So.
Exactly.
So, well, thanks a lot for joining us today, David.
My pleasure.
David will be in January in Las Vegas at the Email Summit, MarketingSherpa Email Summit, and every attendee will get a free copy of his new book, Real-Time Marketing.
The real version.
The real version.
That's the advanced version.